Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, last week, I believe it was last week, we got the news, or the week prior to that Skip Bayless was leaving Undisputed. Everyone reacted to it. But the one person that we were all waiting to hear from was Stephen A. Smith, right? We were waiting to hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say. And last week, I believe it was Thursday or so, either Thursday or Friday, one of those days, he published a show on his podcast, the Stephen A. Smith Show, where he dedicated about a 15-minute segment reacting to the news about Skip Bayless leaving or being fired from Undisputed. He went through their history, what it was like to work together. And he also kind of explained, he also kind of silenced some of the rumors out there about people talking about could there be a potential of Skip Bayless possibly returning to ESPN First Take to work in a role kind of similarly to the way Stephen A. Smith was brought on to First Take, right? So Stephen A. Smith addressed all of that. But then he got to another particular point in his monologue where he spoke about really the elephant in the room. In terms of Skip possibly making a return on ESPN First Take, which is the dynamic that exists between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. If you guys remember well, it didn't really end well on the show. They had some major blow-ups. I think in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, the year they left each other, 2022 or 2023 or something. I think it was last year, actually. They had some major blow-ups together on television over the Damar Hamlin situation. Of course, they had the Tom Brady one, which was pretty messy. So they broke up, and then Shannon Sharpe ultimately left the network and went to work at ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And ever since he got there, it was all on up and up. But what surprised me was the following. As Stephen A. Smith was talking about that, he basically said that in no way, shape, or form would he ever consider bringing Skip back to ESPN, given the relationship or the fractured relationship that Skip Bayless has with Shannon Sharpe. And I was like, wow, that's pretty telling, right? That's pretty telling, because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith before that, he spoke about all of the stuff that Skip Bayless did for him in terms of putting him in a position to be able to springboard his career off of his own merit and off of his own hard work. So those are the comments that we want to focus in on today. But before we even get into what Stephen A. Smith had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. For example, I am super excited about the upcoming MLB games. With Game Time tickets, I can easily pick the best tickets for me. I love that I can choose between different deals. I have the option to select the cheaper deal, the best option deal, or my favorite, the flash deal. The flash deal gives me the option to find discounts that I can only find on Game Time. Once I select the ticket I want, I can view my seat. And it's not just restricted to baseball. I can also look for the best ticket deals for other sports like football, the NBA, concerts, comedy, or other theater shows. Included in my purchase, I also have a 24-hour return guarantee, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we'd like to do now, we'd like to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say in regards to Skip Bayless possibly returning to ESPN First Take, and more importantly, him choosing Shannon Sharpe over Skip Bayless. So take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here, and we'll come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to him here.
I'd be remiss, however, in neglecting to bring this part up about Skip Bayless and not being on First Take. I wish him well. I want him to land on his feet. He ever needs my help in any other way, I'm happy to help him. But I ain't gonna front, y'all. I wouldn't do that to my man Shannon Sharpe either. That's right, I said it. See, Shannon Sharpe and I used to be contemporaries. We're now friends. We're now brothers. I wouldn't do that to him. I wouldn't even call and ask him. You can't have the kind of separation that they have, and I'm going to be a part of that coming on First Take. No. But it's not just Shannon. You know, there's a whole bunch of people that contribute to the success of my day job, First Take on ESPN.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? I think from a business standpoint, I think is a no-brainer. Now, there'll be some excitement if Skip Bayless were to come back to the show, but I think it'll be like a momentary excitement. I don't think Skip is as interesting as he used to be before, right? For whatever reason. Maybe it's his age, maybe, I don't know, changing the times or whatever the hell it is. A few years ago, Skip Bayless was still Skip Bayless. These days, he doesn't seem to have that same bite when it comes to giving his opinion on these talk shows. And if you had to think about who he would choose, if you had to choose between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, would you risk messing up what he has with Shannon Sharpe? I think it's a no-brainer. Shannon Sharpe really helped take ESPN First Take to a whole different level. When he was there, you could notice a considerable bump in their viewers, right? In the daily viewers. Like it went from 400,000 or something like that on some days to like 800,000 on other days. So Shannon Sharpe clearly has star power. He's also exhibited the ability to be able to make a lot of money for ESPN. Is one of the reasons they extended his contract. So he's going to be working with ESPN now. So to me, I think it was a no-brainer for them to bring him over there. And I think Stephen A. Smith is being an astute businessman by saying that, look, we're going to take the sentimentality out of it and just focus on it from, a business standpoint. And there's no way in hell I would risk alienating or making Shannon Sharpe feel uncomfortable to where he would leave the show or not be comfortable working there. And then you risk your ratings, because if you know anything about Stephen A. Smith, he's all about his ratings, and he's gonna let you know that he number one every single chance that he gets. And whatever opportunity arises, he's gonna let y'all know that, look, I'm still the top dog here, right? So to me, I think that's just smart on his part. Secondly, I don't think Skip Bayless would even want to go back to ESPN First Take. I think Skip Bayless is someone that has a very big ego, and you can understand why he does. He's been on top of the game for so long. He's been one of the biggest voices in sports media for decades. So it would be, I don't know if Skip Bayless would view it like it would be beneath him to come in on a role where he's just contributing maybe once or twice a week and then he leaves. I don't know if that's something that Skip Bayless would be interested in, quite honestly. Skip's leaving the show, I think, mid-August. So we don't know what Skip Bayless is going to do. We don't know if Skip Bayless is going to hang it up and say, look, I'm done talking sports. I'm going to move on and do something else. There are more interesting things happening in the world, and this is not something that I want to do right now. Or is Skip Bayless going to have the itch to say, you know what, I want to come back. I want to continue to talk sports. We don't know what our plans are, and we don't even know if that's something that he's interested in. I think Stephen A. Smith just kind of put that message out there to kind of just quench all of the flames immediately and say, look, for those of you that are even wondering whether or not this may be a possibility of me bringing in Skip and then having this whole Shannon Sharpe dynamic and me being in the middle of it, he said there's no way, shape, or form. And hey, if that's what he wants to do, I respect his position, and it makes sense to me from a business standpoint. So what I want to know from you guys, where do you stand on Stephen A. Smith's comments? Do you think he is smart for him to say he's not going to jeopardize the relationship that he has with Shannon Sharpe? Or do you think, Stephen A. Smith should try to throw Skip Bayless a bone, given the fact that they have history together? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.